Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer and today I'm Gamesplaining Cafe. So if you have watched my Gamesplanation for Cafe, you'll have an idea of how this game plays. I've set the game up as a 2-player game. The 3 or 4-player game, the only difference is the number of cards that live in that deck, because that deck really tells you how long the game goes for. It's 8 rounds, by the way. This is the first player marker. The first player flips out 3 cards from this deck. The next player is supposed to take first. I play with whoever has this is the first player, not the last player. I feel that's weird, but that's just me. So this player is going to select one of those cards. So first up, he's going to take this card. Now, because there's a coffee cup on there, it's going to cost him one of his cubes. So he'll spend that cube. And you've got to cover up at least 2 spaces, so he's going to cover those 2. Then it's this player's turn, and he's going to grab that one. This one doesn't have a coffee cup on it, so he doesn't lose any of his cubes, but that's where he'll place it. Okay, so this player has 2 coffee cups, which means he has 2 actions that he can do. This player only has 1, so he'll just have the 1 action that he can do. Starting over here, he's going to start by planting some beans. So that's the A section. Realistically, the first thing you can do with each of them is plant beans. If you haven't planted beans, there's nothing else you can do. And he's going to actually use his second action to plant this bean that's up there by itself. Over to this guy, and this guy will do the same. He will plant beans. He only has 1 action, so that will be his action. Notice this one gets 2 beans on it because there's a picture of 2 beans there. Now these 2 go to the discard pile and we move to the next round. So this is first player and he thinks he will spend a bean to take in this one and he'll place that there. So he's joining those together. Another one comes out. So this guy to choose one. And he's going to go with that one. It doesn't have a coffee cup on it, so it doesn't cost him anything. He's going to place it down there, which means this one just goes back to the draw pile because it's been covered up. But that's not a drama. These 2 then get discarded. Now, this guy has 2 coffee cups. This guy also has 2 coffee cups, so they'll both have 2 actions each. This guy's going to do his B action, so pull all the green stuff in, and he will do the C action as well, which changes from B to C. Over to this guy, who's going to do a planting action, so that gets him a brown and a green in, and then he'll do his B action just here on brown. That should have also taken a cube in. I do apologize, there's a cube going in. Moving on. Next player's first turn. He thinks he'll grab this one. He'll put that in over the top of that bean. So it's covering up 2 spots. But now he's got all of these beans all joined together. So he's going to be able to produce a fair amount when he does produce. This guy's going to grab this one. Once again, it's got the coffee cup on it. He's only got 1 boat. So it's going to cost him a cube. He thinks he'll spend the red one. And he thinks he'll put that just here, which gets rid of that red one. But what he's now done is put a cafe next to this area. So assuming this has the red bean in it at the end of the game, it will get an extra 2 points. Okay, this guy now has 2 coffee cups. This guy now has 3. So 2 actions over here. He'll go 1 action to move them to the C. And he'll move another action to bring that to the D. So this now will gain him 4 points at the end of the game. Those coffee cubes stay there for the remainder of the game. If part of that got covered up by another card, those cubes would come off. He wouldn't be able to score that at the end of the game. Back over to this guy, who will go 1 to pick the beans into there. This C goes to the D, so he gets 1 green there and 1 green there. And this one's looking for red, so he'll move that up to there, and that's his 3 actions. He'll be able to move that across their next turn. Okay, this guy's choice, and he's going to choose this one and place it in there. A new card comes out, this guy's choice. So because they both now have 2 boats, they don't have to pay for the ones that have the coffee on it. As much as it pains him, he thinks he's going to take this one and he's going to place it there. So he's just covered up a coffee cup, but he's covered it with another coffee cup, and he's got the 2 ships, so that's okay. This guy's turn, he's got 4 coffee cups. This guy only has the 2. So what he can do is, as one action, that was bring them all onto the A. As his second action, he might actually do that to the B. His third action, he will bring this one over to there. Notice these ones weren't able to go here because there was already a cube on there. He's not able to bring more red in. It's whatever's available at the time. So he will now upgrade those, so he'll be able to feed that one in the future round. He needs to find a way to get a couple of, or a green and a brown through. So we'll see how that pans out for him. Over to this guy. This guy doesn't seem to have any cafes to help him out. So what he'll do, he's only got 2 actions. What he's going to do is he's going to grow the beans. So that was one of his actions. His second action, he'll actually grow on these 3, and we move on. I think that gives you an idea of how to play. I'm going to jump forward to the end of the game so you can actually see how everything works out. Okay, so I've come to the last round. They've selected their cards and put them in. This first player on this side, so I'm just going to run through the elements. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actions that he can do. He doesn't have any empty cafes, so he's really just trying to turn coffee in to these appropriate colors. So he will use one of his actions, do that. One of his actions to do that. He may not have enough actions to actually make this workable, but at least he needs to get a red and a yellow to have any chance at points at all. We'll see what happens. He may be making a mistake there, but he'll do a third one of them. Okay, we then harvest. So we'll do the yellow onto that spot. And this one gets to harvest for free, which means the red ones can come in to that spot as well. Then they go to grind, so we'll do yellow and red all the way through. Then they can go out to the cafes, so red goes out for 1 and yellow goes out for 1. And he's out of action, so green and brown have been left with just the 1 each down there, but that's not too bad. Okay, this guy has 5 actions. He needs to get another green over to this Lisboa 1922. There's 2 more green, a brown and a yellow down here. Otherwise everywhere's okay. So what he might do to start with is do the C action with those. That's enough green and a brown. He doesn't need any red at all. He could do with some green down the bottom here. And he definitely needs to do yellow to get the yellow here. But he only has 1 potential yellow spot. So he's going to grow again spots because he's got a nice little chain of spots that he can all join hands together and grow on. He'll harvest again. So he does need to harvest that yellow. He thinks he'll harvest the green. He'll then bring these over. So 1 and that one brings the yellow because it's attached. He's not going to be able to do it. So he's only got 1 turn left, but he can only move 1 color off where they are. So he'll move green because that'll get him at least that upgrade there, and he can get that one. But he hasn't been able to achieve this one in entirety, and he hasn't been able to achieve that one either, which is a shame, but that's the breaks. Okay, so then we come down to the actual scoring. So what this looks like is, first up, the least number of beans, which is this one, will score 2 points per bean. The second least, which is that, they both have one, will score 1 point per bean. So we'll do that on both of them. So this guy has 2 points per bean on the yellows, and the others are all 3, so he'll go there. So this guy has 7 points. This guy has 3 points to start with. Then we look at the board for any of these markers of complete things. I'm going to suggest that at this point, take any cubes off the board that aren't going to give you points so you don't get distracted. So these two, everything else is going to score there, that's fine. On this board, all these ones that are on beans, not made it over to various spots, and this one is not going to score, so I'll take them off as well. Which now means this guy gets 3 points for that cafe, another 2 plus 2 for that one, that's 7, plus 3 for that one is 10, plus 5, plus 2, 17, plus 3 is 20, plus 2, 22, 23, 24, 25. And this guy has 5, plus 4 is 9, plus 4 is 13, plus 5 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. They both have 25 points. It's a split game. You're then looking at who has the most cubes on the roast squares, which are these ones, which I think was this guy. It's worthwhile just kind of hanging on to them to the side. I wasn't expecting a tie when I took them off the board, but I'm pretty sure this guy's the winner because he had the most stuff in the roasting area. And that, my friends, is the game of Cafe. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.